Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. We are starting to unbox our Black Friday goodies. So here we got some of Warlord's Saxon Ceorls? Unarmored Warriors! Saxon Unarmored Warriors, that's what that word says. I know it says on the back there, Ceorls is another pronunciation. You'd think after digging through so many Darklands models, I would be okay with some of this old English pronunciations, but I'm not. So, interestingly enough, as soon as I saw these, I'm like, these don't look really much like a lot of the traditional Warlord sculpts. But then I remembered that they actually had bought out a lot of those older Wargames Factory plastic sculpts. And I'm pretty sure that's what these guys are. Because I know they have the Ceorls, but then they also have the Thanes with the armor. So I want to say that's the big difference, is the armor or unarmored kit. But hey, you know what? I've got them for like half price. I can't really complain, and there's 32 to a box, which means I've got plenty to goof around with. And check that out. They are packed to the gills. Oh, those are absolutely Wargames Factory style ones. All right. What do we got? Now, the first thing I notice is we need to zoom it in better. Let's get comfy. Okay. There we go. So basic bodies. Actually, looking at these, I am thinking this is going to be fun to experiment with some of the other stuff like Wargames Atlantic, Frostgrave, Fireforge, Victrix, who knows what kind of stuff. Very basic, very simple, but they're, you know, unarmored warriors, so I guess they kind of should be. So those are the body sprues. And then, ooh, yay, look at this. Plenty of swords in scabbards. We got a whole bunch of different blade types. Hunting horns, holding hands. Good variety of shields, standards, spears. How many heads are we looking at here? Are there more on the bottom? No. Bows. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 heads, not bad. Not many armored ones. We have some capped ones. I guess if you wanted to paint them silver, though, I guess those are helmets. But we have the guy over here with the mail hood as well. So that's what we have there. Okay, so how many of these sprues do we have? I guess it's one weapon sprue to go with one body sprue. And the fact that we're supposed to have 32 in there means I will let you do the math. Are there no instructions? I thought there were instructions or something in here. There are. The instructions are mashed into the top of the box. Included with this set is a full color water slide decal sheet. Hey, that's actually kind of handy to have for once. So you have everything here explained. I do appreciate that. Plastics made in China by Wargames Factory. So it is definitely the stuff from... There we go. Those are nice. I don't think I've ever used water slide decals on 28mm or 25 or whatever gaming size models before. So I'm quite curious to see what that's like and how much of a hassle that's going to be. I don't know if they're designed with the center to be removable like a donut style. We'll have to try and figure it out. But I can pretty much guarantee I am going to go tinker with this. We'll get a nice few put together and we'll see how they turn out. Alright everybody, we got our Saxons. Well, we got a bunch of Saxons put together, and actually I saved back quite a few sprues, and we'll talk about what we're going to do with them. Just so for first glance, I just painted up a really quick one, and when I was painting him, it dawned on me why this is such a neat kit. First of all, it's really plain. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. In terms of the clothing that they're wearing. Now, the poses are a little bit odd, and that's just something that's going to happen with the way that the hands were designed. But then I started to realize, after looking at a few other Wargames Factory kits that I had, both from Warlord and from the original run when they were doing it on their own, a lot of the arms are pretty much interchangeable between all of the various boxes. And So why am I limiting myself to just the ones that were included here? And then I started to wonder to myself, well, what if I started to swapping them out completely? Because the way this body is designed, there's nothing that just screams, oh, this is only specific to, early Middle Age, Saxons or whatever. I mean, you could really get away with using these guys for just about anything so long as you had everything that you needed to go along with it. So we went ahead and put together just a few sample basic guys. I mean, yeah, sometimes the poses are a bit odd. This one arm in particular. You can see it's the same one as he's got there. Let's see if I can get a little bit lower so we can see them better. And my camera's going to tip over now. Hold on. Whee! There we go. Too low. Just right. Alright. I've just got piles of guys here sitting next to me. We started playing around with dual wielding. I think this axe was included. I don't even know if that sword was included. It might have been a immortal Persian one. I'm not even sure at this point. Because once I started going, I started thinking to myself, what else can I do with them? Tried putting together a couple of archers, just because. I know they're sloppy. One issue I've always had is the necks are so thick, but, if you start cutting them down, it's okay. Speaking of thick, the glue glopped all over this guy, but, I am going to clean them up a bit more before we actually go ahead and paint them. I know they don't have the triangular shields. I think a few guys did. What was interesting was that there were actually a few of the arms that they have for the Vikings, and in fact, I want to say that their Viking sprue was just maybe under half of the parts were different, but a lot of it was the same, so we went ahead and made some Viking Bondi type guys. I think that's his actual hand, and you do have the kite type shields. And none of these bases were included. These are just bases I started using. Unhelmeted head, at least I think. At this point, I started building a couple of different kits, and I don't know what's what anymore. But then, you know what, so like I said, I started thinking about, well, what else could I do? So I started grabbing some Frostgrave parts, and they fit great. Well, the helmet looks a bit big, but the arms worked out great. It's just something different. These are all Frostgrave bits. Obviously, it looks weird that he's got the chain mail and the big poofy sleeves, but, we'll make do with it. It is what it is. I think that's from the Night Kit. And then I thought to myself, well, what else can we do? Oh, you know what? I had all those leftover tools from those Fireforge peasants. So, oh, yeah, and it works pretty decent with a thresher. I remember you guys told me that. And I want to say that head is either a Frostgrave or Fireforge head. And you can see it fits pretty well. So if you've got all the bits laying around, I absolutely would encourage you. Play around with them. I think this guy was made out of Victrix. That's a Dacian head, I know that. That might be a... And those are both Fireforge tools. So, Here's another one. I think that might actually be a Victrix Viking head with Fireforge peasant tools. I know they've got all kinds of swords from various kits here. And another one that I figure I'm going to probably start playing around with are some of the Wargames Atlantic Irish bits. I think those would work great on these heads. I know there's a ton of them. And I think that's what it gets really cool is, as long as you've got the head, you can paint it however. I know I've shown them off in the past, and I think I finally put them away. There's always that one Persian Immortal Frostgrave dude. Yeah, he finally got put away. Dang it. But speaking of Frostgrave, I think these figures would be great for such an occasion. Venturing into Felstad. You can see here the size is right about the same, and obviously if I've got Frostgrave bits on some of these dudes. This is maybe not even half of the box. There's something like 30 guys. Maybe it was 24. I'm confusing myself between the original ones because I've got a couple of Wargames Factory boxes laying around, and I want to say that the actual Warlord releases are only 24. But considering the prices and what you can do with them, I'd say yeah, it's pretty much worth it. And I also have to point out the fact that they do have the nice water slide decals for those shields if you don't want to just be boring and paint them a solid color. I mean, they do have some solid ones. I'm going to probably put some of these on. They're just fun and neat to look at and make for some very colorful looking models. So I am happy I got these guys. Even happier I didn't have to pay full price. That's always a plus. But I think I'm going to get a lot of bang for my buck with them, especially as I start to just do all sorts of other interesting, funky things with them. I think it's a very versatile kit, especially if you've got as much bits and pieces laying around to take advantage of like I've got, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do out there. So do keep your eyes peeled for this kit, and hopefully you'll get a lot of use out of it, just like I did. With that said, this has been Warlord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and as always, we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.